Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to talk about the past. You've been carrying your past for so long, it's going to break your back. You cannot step into your future by dragging your past behind you. You got to let it go. You were not your failures. You were not your mistakes. Those were just lessons. Those were just building blocks to who you eventually became. I used to think my past disqualified me from a lot of things. I replayed these things over and over in my head, but eventually I got tired of it. I said, you know what? My past doesn't define me. It explains me, but it doesn't define me. I needed to let one thing go, one or the other. I had to let my past go, or I had to let my future go, man. And I wanted to step into what it is that God had for me in the future. I don't want to be stuck in the past, stuck in the mud, stuck in the mire, and wallowing in this self-pity and what happened to me and all these other things. I understood that in order for me to mobilize into my future, I had to release the past. I had to understand that there was no way for me to do and be what God called me to be by dragging my past behind me. I had to let it go. I'm sure you're familiar with the story about the elephants in the circus and how there's this rope that's tied around their ankle and it's attached to a stake that's hammered into the ground. And you may ask, how can this little rope stop this huge animal from roaming around? Well, what happens is the circus, the trainers, they understand this principle. While the elephant was small, they got this thick rope and attached it to a stake and hammered it into the earth. And when this baby elephant would struggle to release itself from this bondage, it failed time and time again, to the point where they were conditioned. As these elephants became adults, they were already conditioned from a little elephant that this rope would restrict them from movement. And a lot of times, we as humans experience the same thing. Some of us didn't come from good childhood. Some of us came from the trenches. Some of us came from, as the young people say, out the mud. But you don't have to stay that way as an adult. Your past doesn't have to hinder you from propelling to what's next, to what God has for you in your life. I remember thinking about Moses. If you guys remember my last video called Start Now With What You Have, I'll put the link in the description. I talked about Moses. I talked about him using his staff as a symbol of freedom. But I really couldn't get away from Moses right now, because I really wanted to talk to you about how Moses was allowing his past to stop him from doing what God called him to do. And whatever it is that you feel called to do, your past can't stop you from accomplishing that. A lot of times when people change, the naysayers will be the first ones to try to disqualify them from trying something different. And oftentimes sometimes it goes like this. Oh, you see so-and-so trying to be all spiritual now? I remember when that dude was recycling cans trying to get at homeless chicks. It'll be the ones closest to you that'll try to drag you down. But what you got to understand is this. All they're trying to do is tear you down to make themselves feel more comfortable, to make it an even playing field, so they could be comfortable in their misery, so they could be comfortable for what they settled for in life. They don't want to see someone coming from the same starting line and advancing further than they are. So they'll assassinate your character. They'll try to tear down your efforts when you're trying to change and accomplish something great, to change the trajectory of your family, trying to change the tax bracket for your family. But I'm reminded of Moses. Now, Moses, as I said, was really hesitant to step into the role that God had called him to step into, and that was to be a liberator of his people. You see, Moses' story didn't start with parting the Red Sea. It started with him running away. He was running away from Egypt as a criminal, and he wandered the wilderness for 40 years, okay? And it wasn't until God called him, appeared to him in a burning bush. When God told him to throw his staff on the ground and it turned into a snake, it says that Moses seen it and ran. Because the snake wasn't just some random animal that God chose out of nowhere to illustrate his power. The snakes represented Pharaoh's power and Egypt's authority and Moses' past, the past that he was running from. And this is where the power is. God told him not only to pick it up, not only to pick the serpent up, but pick it up by its tail. Now, if you pick a snake up by its tail, what's it going to do? It's going to turn around and bite you. You pick a snake up if you're so trained by the back of its head. But God told him, pick this serpent up by the tail. And Moses followed God's instruction and picked the snake up by its tail, and it turned into the staff. Now, what is this saying? This is saying that Moses' past was powerless to bite him. Moses' past was powerless to affect him anymore. That God was going to use his past as his purpose. God was going to use his past as his purpose. You see, God can turn your past into your purpose. The only person that could cancel your purpose is you. By holding on to the mistakes, the regrets, and the failures. You gotta let them go. So Moses picks up the snake by its tail and turns into a staff. That was God's way of saying your past isn't chasing you anymore. Your past doesn't own your future anymore. And by Moses obeying God, that was his way of releasing himself from his past. So how does this apply to you? It's very simple. If you simply invite God into your past, he could potentially make it your purpose. You see, God is not restricted by time, space, and material. He's omniscient. He could be everywhere at the same time. He could be in your past, your future, and your present. And if you look at Moses' life closely, you could see yourself in it. Because a lot of us are running from our past and allowing our past to stop us from mobilizing into our future. We can't forget the things that we've done. We can't forget the things that were done to us. And it's just got us stuck. It got us stuck in this pit, stuck in this quicksand of old memories and regret from past failures. God is saying, invite me into your past and I can make it your purpose. God is saying, when you invite me into your past, it's powerless to bite you. It's powerless to harm you. And it could be the very tool to change your destiny and your family's destiny. Thanks for watching. I'll see you on the next one.
Thank you for joining us. We hope today's episode has sparked your curiosity and offered you new insights into the human experience. If you enjoyed the episode, please consider subscribing and sharing it with others who might find value in our content. We'd love to hear your thoughts, so feel free to leave a comment and a thumbs up. Until next time, keep exploring, reflecting, and finding meaning in your own unique journey. Safe travels, and we'll see you on the next episode.